Challenges in early marriage for a wife who is not good at cooking. Before getting married, I was not a girl who was good at cooking. You could say that my cooking skills were very minimal. I was still confused about distinguishing between ginger and galangal or turmeric. Until my mother always asked me later when you are married, "What do you want to feed your husband?" I was like, yeah, that's a matter for later. Learn to cook later. The important thing is that there's a candidate first. After I got married, it turned out how it turned out. My mama was right. Finally, I felt for myself how to face obstacles in cooking, especially in the early weeks of marriage. Then I realized why I didn't learn to cook earlier. The challenge is compounded by the differences in cultural backgrounds that make my and my husband's tastes different in some food choices. For example, I prefer fried noodles. He prefers fried rice. I like spicy food and he doesn't. There is no demand from each other that we have to like the same type of food. Taste cannot be forced. But because I often serve food that my husband likes, I finally started to like some of his favorite foods. Occasionally, I also cook Indonesian dishes to introduce to my husband. Eventually, he started to like them, such as satay, rendang, perkedel, martabak, opor, etc. Actually, I intend to learn to cook. Here is the proof : there are many cooking channels that I subscribe to on YouTube. There are many cooking accounts that I follow on Instagram. Almost every day I watch cooking recipe videos. I also diligently read recipes on websites or magazines. I didn't forget to ask my mother-in-law for some of my husband's favorite recipes. The hope is to execute the recipes straight away, but it turns out that there's a lot of laziness. Finally, cooking the same simple dishes over and over again, or if the laziness is really acute, finally buying food outside. Sometimes, even though you follow the recipe measurements exactly, the taste is still lacking or different. Worse still, if the measurement recommendation uses the measurement of a little salt or salt to taste. I understand that there are many people out there who are naturally talented at cooking, adding spices only according to their feelings without using measurements, and the results are still delicious. But for those who are new to cooking, it can be confusing what enough or a little and according to feelings are like. I always ask my husband to give an honest assessment of the dishes I make. Sometimes the cooking results do not always get the expected response. So sometimes I still feel annoyed if someone comments on my cooking that it is not delicious. I feel like retiring from cooking, but then I think again, if I don't cook, how can I buy food outside every day? I will go bankrupt. Fortunately, my husband already understands and accepts his wife's situation because before we got married, I had already expressed this about cooking. Every day I think, what else should I cook for my husband today? It seems that this problem is not only experienced by beginners like me. Even wives who are good at cooking are sometimes still confused about what to cook every day. Actually, it is possible for the husband to help determine what to eat that day. But it seems that there are two types of husbands in this case. First, a husband who likes to request what to cook according to his wishes, so the wife's job is just to cook the requested food. Second, a husband who doesn't want to be bothered to determine the food menu. Whatever his wife cooks, he will eat. Well, in this case, the wife must be creative in determining the food menu. In order to reduce this headache, I finally wrote down all the food menus that I could possibly serve to my husband. When I was confused, I just looked at my personal list. Little by little, this list grew as I mastered new recipes. So guys, those are the challenges regarding kitchen matters that I experienced while living my married life at the beginning of my marriage. For those of you who are going to get married and are worried because you are not good at cooking, don't be discouraged. In the beginning, it was indeed a bit difficult. That's what I experienced. But alhamdulillah, as time goes by, while continuing to learn and try recipes, believe me, this problem will slowly begin to be resolved. Hopefully with this cooking activity, inshallah, it will be a field of reward for the wife because the goal is to make her husband happy and lighten his burden.